You just don't listen to them. I'm speaking now not as a youth, I'm speaking as an elder. I'm in my 50s. When we started this, we've traveled around the north to meet with governors, traditional rulers. We traveled to virtually all pastoral areas. We partnered with the largest telco in Africa, MTN. Maybe some of you will remember when MTN was talking about animal identification, when they were talking about tracing cows. We developed that solution from the north. Nobody listened to us. This is hard, it's sad. Me and my friend migrated to Lagos in 2016 and established Livestock 247 in Lagos. Livestock 247 has been in Lagos since 2018 officially, and we've been in Lagos, exposed us globally. We've gathered projects in the ranges of millions of dollars through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dr. Kosari was in government here. And I'm going to give him some, because when he was in government, he didn't even listen to us too. So, when I was invited to come and talk about entrepreneurship, I felt personal because Sir Amadou Bello Foundation, it does something to a typical northerner. That name does something to a typical. I flew from Rwanda purposely for this. I started a company called RiceAfrika about 5 years ago, and we've been awarded globally. We've received awards globally. I'm a top innovator for the World Economic Forum. I facilitate transformation of agric in Africa, in Switzerland, sir. From the north, my government doesn't even know what I'm doing. And when you're talking about how do you invite youth to agric, today, the language is technology. We are here. I was talking to some friends when we came here. I said, where are the youths? I'm definitely not a youth. I'm in my 50s, sir. I grew up when you were in Inland Bank. I knew you as a banker. You became a governor. And most of us here, where are the youths? And when I shared this invitation on social media, a lot of the young men that followed me kept on sending me inbox. Where is the link to connect? This is a Northern Nigerian Stakeholder Summit. And I don't think we are streaming this in online. Are we? So if you want to invite the youth to agriculture, you have to use the language that they understand today. We sit down and decide for them. They will not connect. What they see is agric is drudgery, agric is old school, agric is war, agric is wahala, agric is whatever. They don't connect with that. What we've done in 3 countries, we are in Tanzania, we started in Nigeria in 2020, we expanded with the funds of the World Economic Forum to Tanzania in 2022. We have moved our headquarters to Rwanda now. And in all the things that we are doing, we are interfacing. 90% of the people in our company are young men and women. Because we understand the language of attracting them, that is technology. And if I was reading something just before we started, our own Akinwumi Adesina, the president of the African Development Bank, said, nobody smokes gas, nobody drinks oil, but everybody eats food. So food is critical, and that is what Africa has a competitive advantage in. You could have just replaced Africa with North. That is what the North has a comparative advantage, agriculture, farming and livestock. Back then in 2018, with me and my friend, we did a survey to find out how many cows moved to the south in a week. We stationed some consultants at Jeba and Lokoja to calculate how many trailers moved to the south. In 1 week, we got 1,480 trailers. No pickups, no small, not goats, not sheep, just cows. And on each trailer, averagely, you have about 30. Do the mathematics. That, as of then, that was a transaction, a weekly transaction of over 7.2 billion coming from the north. We've traced cattle routes from Congo, from Equatorial Guinea, from Morocco, from Central Africa to Northern Nigeria. But yet, we don't participate in the business. We even started what we call cow nugget tribe. I had a talk around 2019 at the University of Ife, whereby we were trying to, what we call, de-ethnicize livestock production because of the arrogance of the typical North collecting that and thinking that it is my, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. Why I'm bringing this thing is for us to know that the opportunities are there, but they've been taken away. While we were doing livestock 247, they were building ranches down south. Definitely no problem with that. Let's come back to crop agric, sir. The north has abundant from the east to the western part of the north to the central. We can feed Africa. But at the moment, sir, if you go to our rural areas where we have most of our farming activities, smallholder farmers, when you attract the youth through agriculture to come, the problem you will face is underproductivity, because we are thinking that the north we are the custodian of food. It is no longer about the small being consumed by the big. Sir, in this world, it's the fast that eats the small. There's the fast that eats the slow. Rwanda is a country of 13 to 14 million people, landlocked in so many mountains, no mineral resources. But Paul Kagame has been able to create a Switzerland in Africa, and a lot of people are not even aware of that. Most production activities in East Africa is moving to Rwanda. He has become seed sufficient for the next 5 years. He's exporting seeds around East Africa, a small country. While we are talking about the largeness and the old glory of the north, some other regions are taking up the farming activities. When you bring the farmer now, the northern farmer, there are 7 fundamentals that we discovered with this research conducted with the World Economic Forum. What the typical farmer in the north is suffering is underproductivity. It's not about the largeness of the north. The typical farmer in the north is facing 7 fundamentals. If we don't solve that, we may not be able to invite the youth to be interested to take up from the old. Number 1 is mechanization that they talked about. Almost 90% of our land preparation is done manually. And research done by people like Dr. Pasari has proven that when you do land preparation manually, and I do my land preparation mechanically, I will have almost 50% of yield than yours. Number 2, over 90% of our farmers plant grains, not seed. There's a whole difference between planting grains and seed. 90% of our farmers plant grains. They don't know. I grew up in a village whereby after harvesting, you take your rice and you plant. That's what we do in the north. You don't get. Number 3 is the chemicals we use. Over 72% of them are substandard, poor quality. Number 4 is crop and soil specific fertilization. Sir, the fertilizer you use in Bauchi, your proudly state, is not the same with the fertilizer you use in Sokoto. Do our farmers know that? The fertilizer composition that you use for maize is not the same with rice. Our farmers don't know that. Then, of course, best agronomic practices. How do we invite our young men to know that, and women to know that technology can help you in supervising and monitoring these farms? Number 6 is mechanization in harvesting. We started the business of harvesting in northern Nigeria that got us an award in Saudi Arabia. Funny, simply because we went to the villages. A typical smallholder farmer in Nigeria cannot afford a $30,000 harvester machine. So do you know that over 90% of our rice farmers still cut their rice with sickle, the rice that we eat? They are still manually cutting rice. It takes averagely 30 young men to work for 24 hours to harvest 1 acre, sir. 1 acre. A harvester machine does that in 30 minutes. In the last 3 years, in 3 countries, we harvested over 6,000 hectares. We've saved over 16 million kilograms of grains that can feed about 56 billion people in Africa. And this is simply because we are tech-driven, we expose what we're doing, and the younger ones are seeing what we're doing, and they're copying it. I will end by a story that I want to share here that stuck with me, and that's why I'm still doing what I'm doing. I went to a village in Garumala, 2021, November. I will never forget, to visit our harvester machines working in the community. First thing first, when we introduced the machines in those communities, the leadership of the communities rejected mechanization. A lot of us don't know that they have their reasons for rejecting mechanization. We were worried. We went to the communities and we asked them why. They said 30 young men work to harvest 1 acre, and you are bringing a machine that is going to do it in 30 minutes. What are you going to do with our youth? Very logical questions. Meaning mechanization leads to unemployment in the rural areas. What did we do? Because we are private sector driven, We went back, we tweaked our business model, like Dr. Andrew is doing. We upskilled those young men, trained some of them to become operators, some of them to become mechanics, some of them to become aggregators. And the community looks at that as, okay, this is an advancement. Apart from helping our farming practices, it is also employing our young men. What struck with me, I saw young girls between the ages of 8 to 13. I'm a girl's dad, and I'm very emotional when I'm talking about girls. I have 5 daughters. And I left my daughters at home in school, going to school, and I saw those girls. They are called Enkali. A lot of people that are in rice communities know them. They walk around rice farms and they cut rice, they steal, sometimes they are raped, sometimes a lot of crazy stuff happens to them. And I asked them, why are you not in school? Because I was worried. I said, this is school time, why are you not there? They were just laughing. School? I said, yes, school. They said, in this community, whenever it's harvest period, their parents ship them to the rice farms as labor to serve as manual labors. So, and I was asking them, what do you want to become? So most of them were telling me things that our girls tell us in the city. One was saying, I would like to be a lawyer. The other one, I would like to be an engineer. They were just giggling around and looking around, and they said, what you're doing now, you're bringing a machine to our community. It is going to free us to go to school. That's impact, sir. So if we're serious about inviting the younger ones to come into agric, finally, we have to listen to them, we have to talk to them. Like, I don't like what happened to me when I was a young man to happen to them. And that's why we listen to them, we invite them, if we partner with them, they have the language of, they help us understand it today. And our experience helps them to understand tomorrow and yesterday. Thank you very much.